Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing gold, and weighing in officially at 140 pounds. His professional record, 26 victories, including 18 knockouts against 4 defeats. From Colón, Panama, ladies and gentlemen, Demetrio Ceballos. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing silver trimmed with black, his official weight 140 pounds. A perfect professional record. 16 bouts, 16 victories, including 13 knockouts. From Caguas, Puerto Rico, the undefeated WBC International Champion, Miguel Cotto.
Vic Draculich is your referee tonight. He'll have some final words here with both fighters. Miguel giving the high fives to his corner.
All right, gentlemen, this is a WBC and WBA super lightweight elimination bout. You've received your instructions in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution you. Any punches below this point are going to be called low. Any punches below this point are going to be called low. With that, are there any questions? All right, remember, obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up, buena suerte.
Miguel Cotto has done everything that's been asked of him so far in his career and more, coming back from the traffic accident that Alan alluded to. However, greatness is expected of Miguel Cotto. To do that, he'll have to steamroll through top contenders, guys who have been there, like Demetrio Ceballos.
Well, he shrugs off the obvious comparison on that island to Felix Trinidad. He says Felix has, his story has been written, now I'm writing mine. He doesn't want to be the next anybody. He wants to be the first Miguel Cotto, which is a healthy way to look at it.
Well, except that he's got a cousin named Miguel Cotto and 16 other Cottos that are fighting as well.
Exactly right. Miguel Cotto's in the silver trunks this evening with the black trim. Ceballos is in the gold trim. Gold trunks with the maroon trim. I was trying to figure out what that color was. Round one scheduled for 12 here from Las Vegas.
I'm glad you pointed out, though, that he has been moved up in class in several of his
hard
fights.
Left hand right there. Excuse me, Rich.
No, and I understand. And he just, you know, and it started with that Justin Juco fight, which I guess, what was that, about a year ago? Or
Yep.
a year and a half ago?
Right here in Vegas.
Yes, and that started the stepping up process. And little by little with each fight, the guys that you mentioned, the John Brown, the Cesar Bazan, especially Cesar Bazan, because Bazan, the former lightweight champion, really showed up to fight and really showed up to win that night over Cotto. And Cotto was too much for him.
Hard jab that he will throw. All his punches sound heavy from where we sit. They just always sound heavy, and he's so powerful.
He looks already very sharp. Look at
Uppercut.
that. Sharpness and power. Accuracy and power.
Ceballos is willing to take it to him, too. Which may not be the greatest idea. A lot of punches being thrown in round one, which is usually a test of one another to find out. Watch Cotto throw when he gets down in that stance. And he'll come out of that thing and throw body blows that have people bent over.
Yes, Cotto can move around the ring. His wheels are pretty good underneath him. He can move, but he sets himself and he has great leverage. He sets down on his punches when he throws them. Look at that. He just throws them with power, with bad intentions.
He's scoring pretty effectively here.
And look at how fluid he moves around the ring.
Yep.
Just love watching Miguel Cotto fight.
Trying to become one of the all-time greats. Just the 17th professional fight tonight, folks. He's 22 years old with 13 knockouts out of his 16 professional fights. Ceballos is throwing some punches.
He is, but he's tasting heavy leather.
He's getting a lot of damage done. Cotto has a tendency to, well, when he sees it, he'll take advantage of it. But that low center of gravity, like you were talking about, when he throws off that, he just sets himself and comes out of it. We'll be listening in here a little bit. Round 2 scheduled for 12. Glad you're with us here in fabulous Las Vegas. Miguel Cotto, silver trunks, black trim. Been throwing some, you feel those hard punches. Even if they land on gloves, he's just got so much tremendous power behind what he does in there. And he's very fluid, as you said. His corner is just telling him to continue the boxing, and it'll probably come. They want Ceballos to be aware at all times that he's in trouble if he doesn't pay attention. I think this is a sport where you definitely need to pay attention, Rich.
Especially when you got that granite-faced kid in front of you.
Just full of fury. Miguel Cotto from Puerto Rico.
You could see all of the promise in Cotto when he was an amateur. I did an amateur tournament telecast that he was in, United States against Puerto Rico. And we named him the fighter of the tournament that night. And, oh man, we couldn't stop talking about him.
Well, I've seen, I think, every one of his professional fights, and he's the same fighter each time. He's like I said, he's been a professional for 10 years. He's always under control. He knows what he's looking for. And this is a bigger test for him tonight. A young man, Ceballos, that you said thought should have been a world champion. Just things didn't work out for him.
I thought he was going to be. Perhaps had he taken another route to his championship fights and met with a different champion instead of Shane Mosley the first time, it might have happened for him. Now the question is he a little used up after taking a couple of beatings from Shane and Stevie Johnston? And I'll tell you, he's taking a beating so far here tonight.
Yeah, it doesn't show, but he's rubbing across his nose a little bit. He got a short punch inside right to the face. Cotto working. Ooh, good combination. That's textbook there.
Yes, meaty, rock-like blows, but good bit of bouncing back there from Ceballos.
Ceballos, to his credit, is continuing to press forward. Nice flicking jab from Cotto up on his toes, showing his footwork. Good counter punch inside. Every time Ceballos throws, he seems to pay a price.
Cotto will sometimes wheel out of there to his left, other times wheel out of there to his right. He'll take his right arm and maybe put it against the shoulder of his opponent and just move him a little so he can move around.
Ceballos trying to find a combination, throwing the jab. I think those body punches really sting. We'll see if Miguel goes downstairs in this fight. Final seconds. There's the bell, which is part of the secret.
Well, there was a...
Round 3.
Probably the most poker-faced of all the great fighters was Joe Louis. I'm not going to throw him into Joe Louis's range yet, but he's got that poker face expression and finishes him off just like the Brown Bomber did.
Ceballos came out here in this round and wanted to step up the action a little bit. His corner's been telling him to throw the right hand, then hit the kidney. I don't know how he's going to reach. I guess you'd have to hit it through him to get to the kidney. I've never heard that advice. Right hand over the top from Cotto. But that's why we're here. We learn something new every day. Hard punches inside. Oh, that was fast. Rich, the combination of power and speed is just deadly.
Yeah, and accuracy. I think Cotto looks very sharp tonight.
This will start to take a toll on Ceballos, absorbing what those, as Rich called them, meaty punches. Because they do make a different sound over here than when other punchers are throwing them.
Yeah, he's somewhere in between, you know, a guy who just has a slow, thudding type punch and those little sharp bip punches. He's got, you know, it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yep. There's something behind it, and with bad intent and accurate. Now Ceballos has got his right hand held down a little bit low right now because he didn't want, oh, that's a good left. Dead on the chin. But I got to give Ceballos credit. He's continuing to work. Good combination. Cotto could be sparring somewhere in Puerto Rico the way he approaches this. Just very mechanical, methodical, and in some ways very fluid. throughout. You get the sense that Ceballos is aware of what a body puncher he's in with those elbows down real tight like that.
Oh, yeah. He knows he's probably never tasted, as much power. In spite of the fact that he's been in there with some very, very good fighters. Oh, boy, he moves easy in there for a puncher.
Yes,
Cotto.
he does. He's very fluid. Smooth as silk. Ceballos continuing to try to find an answer and press forward. Now he's up on his toes a little bit. Closing seconds, round 3. I believe that Miguel Cotto has outpointed his opponent in every round so far. Come on, go! Well, it's important for him to get some work. Vic Dracula's trying to get the corner, Ceballos' corner moving. Ceballos is 30 years old now, giving up 8 years to perhaps the next great fighter of his generation. Rich was mentioning he saw him as an amateur and couldn't stop talking about him. And all that potential remains to be seen, but there's a lot on the shoulders of Miguel Cotto, which he handles very well. I was down in Puerto Rico with him, and he's so popular down there, but he's just very down-to-earth person. He's not a extravagant person, not showy about anything. It's just this is his profession, and he's very good at it.
And I tell you the truth, after I saw him as an amateur, I actually called up a couple of promoters, and I said, I got to tell you about this kid. Have you heard of this kid, Miguel Cotto? But, word was already out on him.
Well, you tried. Ceballos chased him around the ring. Cotto, as I said, it is important to get good work. And it becomes a matter sometimes, like we saw him dig that punch into the ribs, of how much Ceballos actually wants to take in there, because he's a veteran and he knows what kind of power and what kind of danger he's in against.
He is now ranked in the top 10, by the way, of all the major sanctioning organizations, between 5th and 9th, depending upon which of the 4 that you utilize.
Cotto continuing to move, throw combination. Oh, there's a good left hand that got in. He can double up that left hand. When he sets himself and really digs it in, it's very effective. Another big round so far from Miguel Cotto. There's the speed.
He methodically breaks down fighters. Usually he puts a spectacular ending on a fight, even if the fight has not necessarily been spectacular in the way that it has evolved during the course of the fight. Like you could just see him basically dissecting Demetrio Ceballos here, breaking him down bit by bit. Oh. And then usually what he does at the end of the fight, though, is quite spectacular.
Well, that's a good term for it. Dissecting him, chopping him up, taking away power and strength, and putting some pain into his body. Those are shocking blows. There's another great combination. 1, 2, 3. That's what Miguel wants to do. Final seconds of the round. There's the bell. Round 5 scheduled for 12. Once again, Cotto's in silver trunks with the black trim.
Although Ceballos has not been in any trouble yet in terms of being staggered or knocked down, I think he's going to have trouble going the distance, and taking the kind of punches that he's taking from Cotto. It's kind of like a surgeon in there.
He takes what he's given. I say that a lot about him, but he comes from every angle. You'll see him throw an uppercut. You'll see him throw straight rights if it's there. He loves to work the body because that sets up everything. There's another body punch right there that really dug in. Like it didn't stagger Ceballos, but he knows it was there, and he's still feeling it. That's what he'll do. He'll work it off downstairs and then finish you off up top, usually in spectacular fashion, as we mentioned before. sets and throws right there.
Because although he does move around a lot, he sets down on his punches whenever he does throw.
Right now, he's sort of looking like a sharpshooter in there. He's just, when he does throw, it lands. Again and again, right there. And they talk about Ceballos throwing punches. It's all he can do to survive what he's taking. Another combination, straight in. Ceballos has slowed down considerably. Another hard right hand.
They pull those trunks of Ceballos way up.
Yes.
Hopeful maybe Cotto will bring his punches up a little higher.
Cotto continues to carve him up. Without taking any punishment, I might add. He doesn't throw just one. He likes to throw 3 or 4.
Good habit to be in, because he will face some very busy fighters as he goes along the way. Oh,
another terrific combination.
Sharp.
It is sharp and it's accurate. And we're coming to the final 20 seconds of round 5. Miguel Cotto putting on a boxing clinic. Same old story there. Decided performance, they might throw the towel in there rather than see their fighter get hurt.
Ceballos looked very discouraged to me there between rounds.
He's really getting hit hard, Rich. I mean, people don't see him hit the canvas, but this guy's... Now, look at him getting busy now. He's going to go for the gusto, I believe.
Cotto keeping those gloves out in front of his face, picking off jabs as they come in at him. See, none of those jabs are landing. Ceballos is a guy who has had a good jab, too. As I mentioned, this is a fighter I always felt was very clever, tricky. But look at, I mean, who looks like the tricky one in there? The trickster's being tricked tonight by the youngster.
Yeah, you said he had some tricks. I think his trick right now is surviving. As he made it into the 6th round. And his corners told him to go out there and knock out Miguel Cotto, or he has no chance because he hasn't won a round. Pretty good right hand coming off the ropes right there from Miguel Cotto.
Different angles from Cotto. Look at, he's got his left foot behind him now, just a bit of a southpaw stance.
He's done that before. Trying to go the body there and land the left hand. Ooh, good body punch. Crowd liking this from Miguel Cotto.
What's not to like?
Ceballos gets staggered a little bit with a left hook. I think he's just bewildered. I don't know how long he's going to stay in there and take this.
Now, he's about to be chopped down, I'm afraid, by Cotto. As I said, taking him apart like a surgeon, dissecting him bit by bit.
There's a hard body punch. Ceballos really bending over and breathing hard now. He's just standing there now. You're right, chopping him down. Miguel Cotto looking to chop Ceballos right on down. Round 6. Good combinations to the head. Cotto continues to throw.
Brilliant stuff from Cotto. Show me the flaw. Where is it?
Haven't been able to find one. Especially his movement. He just steps so fluidly around. So I think the corner's going to have to look at this, or Vic's going to have to look at it in a minute about the punishment. Ceballos has not been able to mount any attack against Miguel Cotto, which leads me to believe that it's not going to be long till that world title fight's coming. I believe I'm seeing some blood, if I'm not mistaken, on the side of the head of Ceballos, who's just right on the ropes and defenseless. His corner's got a towel over their shoulder. But I don't know if they were getting ready to throw it in or not.
Well, what would be the point of continuing?
That's what I'm saying. Well, neutral corner now, Dixon, and Vic Draculich wants to look at Ceballos. I don't see how they'd go more than one more round, Rich, to tell you the truth. Let's see something miraculous happens.
Last round, he tried to come out strong after they told him he had to knock out Cotto. And he did well for about 30 seconds. Threw a lot of punches, but nothing really landing. I think it's just a masterful performance. Cotto has won every round clearly, and the last round was the biggest of all.
Well, Ceballos, as you said, at one time had a pretty good jab, and that's pretty much all he's done. Boy, his head got snapped back on that jab right there. Look at the angle and way after he throws the punch, Cotto pulls the punch back, ready to reload it, like recocking a gun. He's ready to go again. It's something to watch. Double jab, straight right. Now that's where Ceballos, hard left hand. Ceballos is in a world of trouble right over there. Let's see if Cotto wants to take him down.
I think if Cotto really committed to finishing him off, he could do it. It's up to Miguel to do it, but he's still continuing to fight his game plan. He's fighting the way that he has the whole fight.
Ceballos has got a hard head. I got to give him that. But you look for Cotto here to just sit down and start digging the body shots in there, like right there. And there's the left hand doubled up, popping the head back. Ceballos totally outclassed in this fight. Found that out early on. A body blow, which really sets this up right now. I don't know about him making the last minute of this round, but he's trying to come back behind that jab. And Cotto's so patient. That's the whole thing. He's just a real businessman in there. Good right hand. How many punches have landed, Rich? Every other one?
Well, I could tell in the first minute of the fight how sharp he was already, and that's what's going to happen. When you get a Cotto that's this sharp, it's going to be so accurate. He's not missing with any of these shots.
Ceballos corner content to have their fighter be pounded upon. Vic Draculich looking at it. They're going to stop it. I knew it was coming. They're going to stop it. I said they wouldn't go another round.
That was an absolutely masterful piece of brilliant boxing.